Now the G7 summit. It looked like it could end well, or at least better than expected. The G7 summit, however, ended with more tension as the United States President Donald Trump refuses to back a joint statement blaming false statements from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The communique had also said signatories will strive to reduce tariff carriers, non-tariff barriers, and subsidies. Now, tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers. Joining us now from our London studio to discuss this is Arise business analyst Bode Oshosami. Good. How will you summarize the G7 summit? Any surprises on how it went?
Well, analysts were expecting fireworks. That was what was expected, given the background to this particular summit. And it seemed it was going well until towards the end, and indeed the final statement started heating up. And then we almost ended the whole thing in disarray when Trump said he would not sign the final communique. Now, if you look at the background to the summit, all the tariff issues, we are beginning to see, I think, a weakening of the Western alliance, even as China is becoming stronger on the world scene, more assertive, more able to pursue its objectives and getting stronger economically and politically, while the Western alliance appears to be getting weaker and even fighting in public on TV. It's just something that we didn't expect to see, but that is what we are beginning to see now. Both sides are quite negative. The allies, they see Trump as an aberrant troublemaker. Trump sees them as allies to the party he defeated. So there really is no meeting point here, and I think we're going to continue to see chaos in trade, and I'm expecting that there will be something, tariffs on cars. Trump wants to win this war. He believes he can win it. He believes he needs the war to make a statement, and his own war really is winning re-election, not actually this war that looks like he's fighting. He wants to be re-elected, and he has been told by some economists, rightly or wrongly, that he can win with this tariff battle. But let's see how it develops.
Yeah, but calling for zero tariffs and asking for Russia. What do you make of the U.S. contribution?
That was quite an unusual contribution. Asking for zero tariffs, of course, plays into the world order. The Bretton Woods institutions have always asked for less tariffs, less subsidies. So this is what they really want. But you and I know that nobody wants to reduce their tariffs. They just don't want Trump to increase his. And of course, to bring Russia into the whole issue, that was a bit of a shock, a huge diversion. And that played well for someone like Giuseppe Conte, who just said today, that's the new Italian Prime Minister, he said today that he would certainly like to see Trump at the next meeting. But if you look at the communique, if you look at paragraph 17, there is a strongly worded paragraph linking Russia to fixing democracies and so on, and I'm sure you know Trump wouldn't like that. So it's quite very difficult to wonder, to sort out what really is going on.
Well, you just referred to paragraph 17 of the communique. Was there really anything controversial in that communique? The EU, the UK, and Canada stand by it, more or less.
Well, communiques generally are very carefully worded, diplomatic, with a lot of diplomatic finesse. Nothing that will annoy anybody will be put in it. But paragraph 17 makes it very clear that Russia has to stop fixing or tampering with democracies, which is like preempting the decision on the Mueller probe, and giving the impression that Trump is a fix from Russia. I think that paragraph was a bit controversial, although Trump did not say anything. Everything else I read seemed like the normal thing. They even added a phrase there, playing to Trump's desire for zero tariffs and eliminating subsidies. But you and I know that Trump probably didn't even read the communique. I think the issue is he wants this war. He believes he can win it. He believes this is what's going to help him. He was practically campaigning at the press conference he gave before he left, if you heard it. So this is just Trump moving on with his own script.
Yeah, but you know, also in Africa, trade is a big issue at the moment. We just had this big controversy over free trade in Africa. Any lessons for Africa and other emerging markets?
Well, my view has always been that Africa and emerging markets have no friends amongst these parties, whether you're talking of China or you're talking of America or even Europe. They're all fending, everyone is fending for himself. So we need to build our own strengths and assert ourselves, build our own competitive strengths, aggressively reform, and have a voice that will be listened to. There is an opportunity because there is a lot of moving around and shaking up of relationships in trade. And if there are opportunities for Africa, this is the time to move vigorously into those opportunities. But this requires boldness and leadership. And there's no bold leadership that you can really see in Africa that could take advantage of these opportunities. But clearly, we should not be taking sides. We should just watch our own agenda and make sure that we are strengthening ourselves and dealing with our own mess.
Thank you very much, Bode, joining us from our London studio. Well, gentlemen, you listen to him. You are the economist, Teriba. Now, what's your assessment of the outcome?
Oh, well, it's becoming a recurring decimal, if you like. Trump posing a challenge to international cooperation. And there you go again. He refusing. Yeah? So it's another manifestation of Trump's unilateralism. Let's see how far he can sustain it. And there seems to be quiet, within America, as he, becomes an obstacle to efforts to get increased cooperation in the international community. Particularly now you're talking about tariffs and trade, and yet it's all about everyone else against Trump.
Well, I mean, it looks like the whole world is protesting against Donald Trump. I mean, Canada, France, and all of that. Why is Donald Trump at war with everybody? On trade, on climate change, on denuclearization?
I think this is the first time that we're seeing a president run the country like it's a business called America Incorporated. I think we have literally got now this businessman that doesn't think things politically, he thinks on business terms. So when he was elected and we heard all this drain the swamp, he's almost done exactly the same with the G7. For the organizers, which is normally this established, elite group that meet up and, discuss various things and don't really rock the boat. He has come in now. He basically was arguing with them before it started and suggest Russia joining just before the official opening ceremony. That certainly didn't please people like the British Prime Minister Theresa May, who is certainly not close with Russia right now. So I think he is just doing his agenda of, America is first. And I think that there has to be some compromise, but at the same time, Trump wants what Trump wants, and very rare does he do a U-turn. And if he does a U-turn, it makes it sound that he's done something brilliant and he will get something big out of it. And I think that there was a photo that was trending on Twitter earlier of the leaders sat around the president, and you could clearly see there was tension in the room. And I think it's the fact it's checkmate, it's stalemate. They cannot get him to change his mind.
Prof, quickly, I mean, the president of France, he has even spoken about the G6, almost suggesting that the G7 is ready to go forward, go ahead without Trump. G6 or G7?
You see, I always look at the problem differently. The problem is not any conflict between the whole world fighting Donald Trump or is at war with everybody. No. You see, G7, it used to be. G7 led to G20. From G7, it became G8 with the inclusion of Russia. But in 2014, because of the politics of the Russian leader, all right, Russia has not been participating. It became G7 again. Now, because of various suspicions, etc., Donald Trump wants Russia to come back, all right, to make it G8. In fact, apart from the 7 countries involved, European Union has been considered as the 8th actor, all right, having a collective institutional representation. So you see what is happening is that G7 has been acting as an instrument of global governance. All these countries that call themselves G7, G6, is the French president that came up with the idea of G6 plus 1. Why? To say that the other 6, because of the withdrawal of the United States from the Iran deal, now saying they are united. That's the G6 plus the United States, not part of them. But the issue now is that what is happening in terms of evaluation and assessment, the way they want to govern the whole world, there is no consensus. And that's where I will agree with Dan by referring to America's, Donald Trump's America First. It's a competition. All right, so in this case, I think that...
we hope that in the context of all this, the bigger priority will be world peace, world progress, you know, and the interest of global peace. It's time now for a break here on This Day Live, this Sunday talk show. When we return, there will be more. Don't go away.